After restoring security to Kesab, the Syrian Arab Army eliminates terrorists in a Samra village and its surroundings and cut off the roads of supplies coming from Turkey. Iraqi troops continue their pursuit of terrorists and repel an ISIL attack in Baqouba. An Israeli airstrike on Gaza causes material damage. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our news for today. In a special operation, the Syrian Arab Armed Forces successfully carried out a complicated naval landing, recovering a Samra village adjacent to the Turkish borders, eliminating the terrorist gangs there and cutting off the road of supplies coming from Turkey. The Syrian Arab Army units continue, meanwhile, to pursue terrorists in Latakia, northern countryside, after restoring security and stability to Kesab. British Foreign Secretary William Hague has admitted to the increasing number of Britons who have joined the terrorist groups in Syria. Hague said that about 400 British nationals are fighting in Syria, some of whom within the ranks of the Islamic State in Iraq and Levant organization. On his part, British Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg also admitted to the threat posed by the presence of Britons fighting in Syria. Patriarch Gregorious III Laham, the Patriarch of Antioch and all the Orient for the Melkite Greek Catholics, has called on the states supporting terrorism in Syria to shoulder their responsibilities towards the terrorist war in the country and to stop the influx of weapons to the terrorists. During the opening ceremony of the Melkite Greek Catholic Church Synod in Ain Traz in Lebanon, Patriarch Laham said, Lebanon is currently in a state of vacuum in the presidency, calling on the parliament members to elect a president as soon as possible. Several terrorists have been killed or wounded in Daraa and its countryside by the Syrian Arab Army units, who destroyed their hideouts and a number of their vehicles and criminal tools. Syrian Arab Army unit targeted an armed terrorist group who tried to attack a military checkpoint in the town of Inkhil in Daraa suburbs, killing and wounding the members of the group. Syrian Arab Army unit also destroyed a terrorist vehicle and killed its occupants on Tal Jabiye, As-Sukkariye and 2 pickup vehicles near Ghabarib. The Syrian Arab Army units also destroyed a terrorist hideout in al-Nusra farm in Daraa. They eliminated terrorist gatherings in al-Nuaima in Daraa eastern suburbs and in Atman village in the city's northern countryside. The Iraqi security forces have repelled an attack by the terrorists of the Islamic State in Iraq and Levant in the city of Baqouba, 60 kilometers northeast of Baghdad. The terrorists had killed 29 detainees after taking control of Al-Wahda police center northwest of Baqouba. On the other hand, the police directorate in Ziqar governorate has declared intention to deploy federal police forces with the support of the clans to secure the governorate's borders following the infiltration into the area by terrorists coming from Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. The Iraqi Minister of Tourism and Archaeology has meanwhile talked of 4,370 archaeological sites in 5 governorates which have been exposed to acts of sabotage and smuggling. Israel has escalated its aggressive attacks against several areas in the Gaza Strip. Israeli aircraft raided the area near the west gate of Asda city, south of the Gaza Strip. Other Israeli planes raided a workshop in Yafa Street, northeast of Gaza, causing further sabotage to Palestinian properties. On the other hand, Israeli naval forces targeted fishermen and their boats off Khan Yunis and Rafah cities south of Gaza, damaging several boats. Members of Egypt's new cabinet, headed by Prime Minister Ibrahim Mahleb, took an oath of office in front of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who later chaired the first meeting of his new cabinet. Al-Sisi reviewed with the ministers the tasks and assignments of the future plan, on top of which was restoring security and order. Al-Sisi's directives to the Ministers of Defense and Interior included pressing ahead with efforts to fight terrorism and to protect the borders and the national security. The new Egyptian government has 34 ministers, including 4 women. There are 13 new ministers, including Ambassador Sameh Shukri, who has become the foreign minister, while 21 ministers continued their work from the previous government. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Jawad Zarif has said his talks with U.S. Assistant Secretary of State William Burns focused on Iran's nuclear program. Concluding his talks with Burns and the EU Foreign Policy Chief Catherine Ashton, Zarif said the Iraqi issue was not discussed. Earlier and shortly after arriving in Vienna, Zarif told Iran's state TV that drawing up a draft for the final deal in this round of talks was possible despite existing disagreements between Iran and the so-called 5+1 group. Zarif is set to meet the Chinese and the Russian delegations in Vienna, as well as the General Director of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Yukiya Amano, ahead of the 5th round of nuclear talks aimed at finalizing an agreement on Iran's nuclear program. Russia's representative to the UN, Vitaly Churkin, was surprised by the absence of any reaction by the UN concerning the attack that targeted the Russian embassy in Kiev lately. Churkin said the UN General Secretary should defend the international law in such cases, wondering about the reason of not issuing any condemnation by the UN Security Council. He also pointed out that many members have expressed their regret over the absence of any opportunity to condemn the attack, which was described by the French ambassador as a mistake, noting that disrupting the statement's issuance by the Lithuanian delegations shows a clear breach of UN traditions. Now to latest business and market news, but after a short break, stay tuned. Welcome back. The Assistant Minister of Economy and Foreign Trade has revealed that 20% of importers and merchants actually started to import food commodities and materials after they had been dealing with luxury goods. He also pointed out that this number will increase as the Ministry is giving importation licenses to all the merchants, stressing that the Ministry is keen to provide the local market with basic needs during the present hard conditions in the country. The head of the board of Damascus Industrial Chamber has asserted the importance of boosting industrial work, urging for necessary procedures to be taken to overcome the obstacles that face the industrialists. He also pointed out that the ministry will increase compensations for the affected industrialists to be 25 million Syrian pounds maximum, noting the importance of granting loans to small industrial establishments to facilitate their work. The trading session of Damascus Securities Exchange has closed on 17.2 million Syrian pounds distributed on 85 deals as trading bulk reached 130,000 shares. On the other hand, the DSE index dropped 5 points to reach 1,289 points. U.S. crude oil fell as technical indicator shows last week's increase to the highest price in 9 months. Brent, on the other hand, dropped amid speculation that the Iraqi forces will slow the advance of insurgents. Futures slid 0.4%. European stocks climbed, rebounding after 2 daily losses, with automakers leading gains. Japanese shares also rose after the Topix index yesterday fell the most in a month. extended a decline from the highest level in 3 weeks before the U.S. Federal Reserve begins a 2-day policy meeting today. The metal for immediate delivery fell 0.7% to reach $1,263 an ounce. Finally, the pound fell for the first time in 5 days against the US dollar after UK inflation dropped to its lowest rate in 4 years in May, damping speculation that the Bank of England will raise interest rates sooner than forecast. With this we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Till tomorrow, all the best and goodbye.